To me, a lush carpet of pine needles or spongy grass is more welcome than the most luxurious Persian rug. Nature is an infinite sphere of which the center is everywhere and the circumference nowhere. Study nature, love nature, stay close to nature. It will never fail you. One touch of nature makes the whole world kin. Many of us take for granted a sunny day, the sights and sounds of nature, and enjoying the day by simply taking a walk in the woods. For individuals with mobility issues, that simple walk may not be so easy. Operated by the St. Clair County Regional Educational Service Agency, the Pine River Nature Center is an educational facility whose mission is to promote the awareness, understanding, and stewardship of the Blue Water area's natural and cultural heritage. In the spring of 2008, the Pine River Nature Center began construction of a universally accessible treehouse. This barrier-free structure was designed to accommodate easy access for all individuals.
One of the things that was required when we got a large grant from the state to purchase the land and create the Nature Center was that we provide access for handicapped individuals so that they can experience nature as well. And one of the ways we're completing our part of that deal is by building a treehouse that's handicapped accessible to people in wheelchairs.
I see it as an incredible opportunity for people with mobility issues. When I think about years ago, I think many families had things like tree houses in their backyards, and I don't think today that you see those as often. And what an opportunity for anyone with a mobility issue to be able to go somewhere and have access to a tree house, or to take a class in a tree house, or to just experience the feeling of being up in a tree house. I think it's just an incredible project, and I'm so happy that we're doing it here at St. Clair County RESA.
Lisa Apple is the former operation coordinator of the Pine River Nature Center and was a driving force behind the vision of the treehouse. She got the idea of building a handicapped accessible treehouse from a co-worker at the Woodland Developmental Center, Tammy Verbecki. Lisa has a clear vision of what the final product will look like.
Once you're up there, you're going to see a broad view of the floodplain of the river. And in the springtime, this is full of water. You're going to get to see that wonderful view of the floodplain. You're going to be able to hear frogs. You're going to be seeing what it might look like to be a bird perched up in the upper branches of a tall oak tree.
A key partner to the RESA in this project is the Community Foundation of St. Clair County. The mission of the foundation is to improve the quality of life in our area.
We received a grant from the Kellogg Foundation, and in turn we went out to the community, to different community partners throughout the entire county, and said to them, if we could provide you some funding to provide better access, universal access to recreational activities, what would you do? And we had a number of communities step forward. First and foremost, it's innovative and it's unique. It provides a learning opportunity for students and families, and I really think it's going to end up being a destination. I think people will come to St. Clair County to experience the treehouse.
Gigi Marica is the program manager for Access to Recreation for the St. Clair County Community Foundation and knows this project is unique.
I envision it to be just a great, fun place for everybody, again, for people of all abilities, children, adults. It's going to be educational. We're going to be right out there in the middle of nature. It's going to be fun. We want it to be whimsical. The design is very unique. It's just going to be a wonderful place.
Building a handicapped accessible treehouse is no small task and required input from many people, including forester Jeff Tuller.
The first thing when I walked out to the site, one of the first things I wanted to do is identify the trees, because the species itself is going to tell you the longevity of that tree. And if you want a tree right next to a structure like that, or part of a structure, it's got to be around a long time.
French Associates of Rochester, Michigan were contracted to design the treehouse.
A lot of the design process had to do with being fun, about creating elements of surprise and playfulness and adventure, working yourself around trees, avoiding the obvious. It starts with a survey of the site. You got to get the lay of the land. There's topography to consider, where our site is on the crest of the hill, which is how we achieve this barrier-free access. And then once you get to know what trees are out there, what the lay of the land is, the trees kind of start to dictate what kind of route you take.
Another key partner in this project was the Access to Recreation organization. This group works to strengthen communities by uniting community foundations, parks and recreation departments, and strives to offer recreational opportunities for people of all abilities.
My job is to work with the planners and the designers to make sure that all of the designs really are cutting-edge, universal design concepts, to make sure that we've thought of everything to make it accessible to people with all different types of disabilities. What's special about accessible tree houses is there are not very many of them out there. It's a new concept. Tree houses in general are a relatively new recreational kind of environment concept.
The Pine River Nature Center offers educational opportunities for local schools and the community. Sarah Nelson, Operations Coordinator, sees the treehouse as a wonderful new opportunity for everyone in our community.
I think the treehouse will be beneficial because it will offer a great experience for individuals who are mentally and physically challenged, who can get out here and really experience nature. They're going to be 20 to 25 feet off the ground, and I think that'll be a great experience for them to be like a bird in a canopy.
Construction began under the supervision of Russ Witherspoon, who explains how the treehouse was built.
From the surveyor's marks in the ground, I went out and marked the center of every pier. The structure's built on concrete piers that are holes bored into the ground between 9 and 11 feet deep. Sitting on top of those piers is a metal bracket that holds a wooden post. We laid out the piers. I hired a subcontractor to come in and dig the holes. There were 13. It was very difficult digging. In one situation, we hit a boulder bigger than the bottom of our hole, and we had to get engineering approval. The holes were dug. They're all put a steel matrix, a reinforcing rod cage was put in every hole. There was a soils engineer on the job inspecting the bottom of the hole for bearing capacity. The next morning when we were going to fill the holes with concrete, of course they had filled with water, so we had to pump the water out. The soils engineer was there that day also to inspect that the holes didn't cave in. The state building inspector was there to inspect the excavation for the foundation. We started pouring concrete, pouring about 28 yards of concrete, just a half mile down a trail out in the woods where you can't get a concrete truck. Set the brackets all where they went. Every one of these foundation piers had a steel bracket, and let it sit for a couple days and let the concrete cure. Next step in the process is, of course, moving all the material. A good deal of labor involved there. This treehouse is set on frame sets, which are posts, beams, and then the next set, posts, beams, posts, beams. And then on top of those frames, it's kind of a timber frame structure. Post and beam bolted together with galvanized metal brackets. Then we set the girders on top of the frame. We had to work from ground level out. We're a couple feet off the ground. The next frame, we're 5 feet off the ground. The next frame, we're 12 feet off the ground. And by the time we got out far enough, we were working 20 feet above our heads, setting beams that weigh anywhere from 600 to 1,000 pounds apiece. We worked a small four-wheel drive portable lift we used to help pick these heavy beams up and set them in place, and then set the girders on top of the frame beams. And then we can put deck joists, conventional 2x10. Then we put posts for railings. After that, we put decking, 2x6 decking that runs at a 45-degree angle. The reason for the angled decking is to roll wheelchairs over it. It won't have quite the same washboard effect. There's 2 trees that go through the structure. The first one, the deck just wraps around the tree. The second one goes through the middle of the house. All the joists are laid. We run a rim around them, which gives us the general shape of the deck. And one section of it, or the house portion of the tree house. It's a structure that's, again, made with posts and beams. There's a couple stud walls, all bolted down through the decking onto the big girders to add strength. The one tree goes right through the middle of the house with a nice copper flashing around it, and I leave about 6 to 8 inches so they have room to sway in the wind a little bit and they have room to grow. We've put the finishing touches on, the railings, wire mesh with squares smaller than 4 inches, and up above, 2 stainless steel cable wires to make the railing regulation height. However, if somebody's seated in a chair, there isn't a bunch of wood to obstruct their view, so the thin stainless cable was designed for that purpose. A lot of challenges. There hasn't been one of these structures built in the state of Michigan. I've never built a structure like this. The engineers never designed one like this, and the architects never drawn one like this. So it's been a steep learning curve. This is a very complex project. It sounds treehouse, nail some boards up in the trees and put a rope swing on it. Well, no, very, very complex project. The hardware is very expensive. The lumber is special ordered and very expensive. The beauty of it being so far out in the woods is they're going to feel a sense of accomplishment, an adventure where they had to work to get out there and they finally got there, and oh my God, what an incredible thing.
In the fall of 2008, a ribbon cutting ceremony was held at the treehouse. A large group braved the cold day to view the structure and hear the comments of several speakers from the St. Clair County RESA and the Community Foundation of St. Clair County. It is hoped that the treehouse will become a destination for families and people of all abilities.